fellow baskets. Today on this new episode of Physics Athletes, we will be showing you guys the physics involved in basketball. Just like every sport, physics is very much involved in the performance of the skills. Physics is a part of every move a player does, and today we will demonstrate two of the most important skills in basketball using physics: shooting and passing. First, let's teach you how to master the art of shooting. Bend your knees slightly. Locking your knees make it easy for you to get knocked off balance. Position the ball in your shot pocket. You should shoot the ball from your shot pocket, located on the shooting side of your torso, a few inches above of your waist. Position your elbow so it's under the ball, not cocked to the side. Grip the ball correctly. Position your shooting hand so that your fingertips are perpendicular to the seams in the ball. Straighten your knees and jump. Use your legs to help propel the ball by jumping upward while your shooting hand launches the ball. Release the ball. Just before you reach the height of your jump, release the ball with your shooting hand aimed at the basket. Now let's learn how to pass. Hold the ball right in front of your chest, with your hands pressing against the sides of the ball and with the fingers pointing towards you. Take a step. As you step your foot down, thrust the ball towards your teammate. When the ball leaves your hands, your fingers should now be pointing outwards with the palms outside and the backs of your hand inside. Pass the ball at your teammate's chest. Trial errors. In many cases, I didn't apply enough force on the ball so it didn't reach the net. I modified my movements so that I put enough force for the ball to enter the hoop. Now that you have nailed the skills, let's talk physics. We calculated the distance between Claudia and the hoop and the time it took for the ball to enter the hoop. With these measurements and one of the kinetic formulas, I will determine the final velocity of the ball. Now that I have velocity and time, I will determine my acceleration. With my acceleration, I can determine the force of the ball. Now let's talk about the different energies when shooting a ball. When shooting a ball, one contracts their muscles, which means there is potential energy. When the ball is released, the potential energy transforms into kinetic energy. When the ball reaches its maximum height due to its altitude, it becomes again mechanical potential energy. When it falls back down, it goes from potential energy to kinetic energy again. When the ball comes in contact with the hoop, the energy is transformed in sound energy and thermal due to friction energy. Now we know when there is kinetic and potential energy in shooting, but how do we calculate it? It's simple. We calculated with these two basic formulas. We calculated our kinetic energy was 9.44. It is important to know that potential energy equals kinetic energy. To calculate the maximum height of our ball, we can equal kinetic energy to potential energy and solve for the height. We found that our height was 1.55 meters. When the player shoots the ball, the forces acting on the ball are the force applied, the force of air resistance, and the force of gravity. The forces acting on the player are the force of gravity and the normal force. Good night, fellow baskets. I hope you have enjoyed this video and that you know that it is very important for a player to be knowledgeable about the physics in the sport he practices, because this knowledge will allow him to improve his movements and strategies. Physics allows a player to calculate the measurements needed in order to know at which distance he needs to be from the hoop and the time it needs to take, etc. It is very beneficial for a player to understand the physics behind all of these skills, since it will allow him to be more prepared and to be a successful member of his team.